Welcome all to an overcast eve in the upstate, where today's match is presented by McMillan, Pasden, and Smith, and we bring you to Paladin Stadium, where today we open up another vintage of the USL League One's classic ties to pair the founders with something to settle today. Greenville Triumph and Richmond Kickers at odds in this one. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Gallagher with the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. And Gary, as you see, coming down the stretch of the season, everything's so tightly packed. Both these teams with a sense of urgency coming off their last tie, where it finished 3-3.
It's so vital for them to get these 3 points. Otherwise, they're going to start going adrift with that playoff spot currently held by Portland Hearts of Pine. But what a match that was, that 3-3 game. Super exciting between these two teams.
And we'll take a look at exactly how that action panned out. Gary, early on, it would be Josh Kirkland from a very narrow angle getting off the schneid.
Good finish from Kirkland there. Then Connor Evans equalizes here, only for Ben Zakowski to go and give Greenville the lead. And a really exciting game with that.
Playings all time between these two, with two in the Jaeger Cup last year. Greenville, with that narrow edge, had that result last year in the Jägermeister Cup, where a draw became a loss for them against Richmond in the shootout. But other than that, Greenville has had much of the success in the recent renditions. All time, you can see both teams have been good for goals, and we should have plenty of excitement as we embark into the 90 minutes to come and go here in South Carolina. As for now, the countdown to kickoff is almost over. Richmond Kickers, Greenville Triumph engaged once more here in South Carolina. Folks, it should be a good one. Don't go anywhere else. We're back with kickoff when we return.
Every day, we get the privilege to serve you.
Sharing local stories on all your screens.
The first alert on breaking news sent through the Fox Carolina News app.
Serving you with the earliest heads up on storms through the Fox Carolina First Alert weather app. Live and on-demand newscasts.
Fox Carolina Investigations.
On your streaming TV.
Your stories told right here.
Fox Carolina News.
I'm Rick Wright, head coach of the Greenville Triumph Soccer Club. The Triumph play here on Palmetto Sports and Entertainment.
Watch using antenna on channel 21.2 or on Spectrum 703. The Greenville Triumph play here. Palmetto Sports.
El Greenville Triumph y Liberty están orgullosos de asociarse con Telemundo Carolina del Sur. Vean Telemundo Carolina del Sur para mantenerte informado con noticias locales en español y disfrutar de toda la increíble programación de Telemundo. Disponible gratis con antena en el canal 31.1.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental. From our family to yours.
Tonight's match is presented by McMillan, Pasden, and Smith, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. Lineups coming to you fresh off the press, and starting with Greenville Triumph. Gary, coming off that defeat against Portland Hearts of Pine, Siobhan Marsh, 2 games consecutive with goals. He starts on the left.
He's one of 3 changes to the team that lost against Portland. Marsh is in. Zane Bubb comes back after suspension. And Gunther Rankenberg gets his place back as the goalkeeper. Seth Tolman to the bench. Anthony Patty and Evan Lee also to the benches. Keep an eye on Chapa Herrera just pulling the strings from midfield and trying to get Leo Castro and Rodrigo Robles in on goal.
As for Richmond Kickers, you will sense a lot of youth in the team. It's 4 academy products in the starting 11, namely James Sneddon, the goalkeeper.
he's in, and some of the changes are these youngsters. Griffin gone at 18 years. He starts. Beckett Howell, 20 years of age. Landon Johnson, 18, all get a start. And then there's a little bit of experience up front with the wonderful Emiliano Terzaghi at 32 years of age, just providing his knowledge. And to the bench, you've got Franco Schenfeld and Hayden Anderson.
Of course, Terzaghi has been a tormentor of Greenville Triumph down the years, as he has been for so many of the league's teams. 4 goals in his career against this very same Triumph. These sides have seen each other plenty of times down the years as they once more come together here today. Greenville and Richmond both in need of some uplift as we enter the final stretch here. Greenville with a Jägermeister Cup tie to think about coming up next weekend against SC Naples, but as for now, it's right what's in front of them. That is Richmond kickers. Peyton Gallagher with the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey on hand. What should be an excellent clash between both sides that have urgency as they enter today. Bit of a dreary, overcast day here in the upstate. The Fox Carolina weather report, it will feel like 100 at points throughout this game. There is some wind, there is humidity and atmosphere. Something to measure as this contest moves along throughout the 3 acts. Rodrigo Robles has us up and underway in the upstate. Greenville Triumph and Richmond kickers bringing up the rear guard of this USL League One match week. Gary, you were on hand for that match against Portland in the midweek. Greenville started so well in that one, just couldn't do anything with the momentum.
It was a good start. They had a few little half chances, then they made some errors, and those errors cost them hugely. There was a bad moment for Seth Torman when a ball rolled just between his legs. It wasn't a tough shot from Titus Washington, and then an Evan Lee bad pass was pounced on by Washington, and that left them at 3-1. Chevron Marsh did get one back, and there was a moment of hope for Greenville, but Rick Wright would have left that match very, very frustrated. There was every chance they could have got at least a point out of that game.
Long throw in. It's a stiff header away. Evan Lee, as you mentioned, out of the team today after 5 consecutive starts, the all-time appearance leader in USL League One, as Rick Wright tries to find that right calculus here in 2025. Back to Gunther Rankenberg with an early touch as he boots long. Leo Castro up amongst it as he so often is, and it's one high by Sims. Greenville doing their best to make it stick, but cleared away by Richmond.
Just noticing that temperature you mentioned feels like 100 degrees. Players are going to have to pace themselves. If you go flat out for 90 minutes in this sort of heat, you're going to tire out. So a little bit of football IQ will come into this match, especially for those players up and down the flanks or in the middle who are doing a lot of running.
Certainly will be something to track for Richmond kickers, a side that like to be up and in the face of their opposition. One of the best pressing teams in the league, and I guess that might have to do with a little bit of the youth that's been injected into the team today for Richmond. Trying to get those young and fresh legs involved here in this one in harsh elements.
3 teenagers plus a 20-year-old as well. That really is impressive. Some of the other players are 23, 24. Ryan Bayer's 23, Josh Kirkland 24. It really is a young side that Darren Sawatsky's put together here. Takes a brave coach to play a lot of youngsters, just the one teenager for Greenville Triumph, and that's Razik Soto.
Soto making his 3rd consecutive start, with the 4th of his professional career. And a bad giveaway. Soto stepping in to try and mop up. Sides today that have experimented quite extensively throughout the course of the year, trying to find their customary form. Both these teams will not feel very comfortable below the playoff line.
It's a critical point. They're 4 points below it now. A win for either side and they're right up there and back in it, but a loss, suddenly you're looking at a situation where you've got ground to make up as you're coming towards the end of the season. I think probably for Richmond kickers, 1 win in the last 12, even more important for them because confidence will start to flag if they lose this. And they're well behind that 8th and final playoff spot. And just one win in 13, that would be if they lost today. That your head will start to drop as a player, and that becomes a really hard job for Darren Sawatsky. So he'll be really keen to get something out of this match, at least a draw, but from Richmond kickers' point of view, they're desperate for the win.
Richmond's heading into this one having not scored in their last 2 competitive contests. Had that friendly against Leganés most recently. They did get a goal. They got a draw in that game, actually, against the recently relegated La Liga side. But other than that, this is a side that has been struggling to find the back of the net recently. Juxtaposition sharply to this man, Siobhan Marsh. And Sims into the area. It goes skipping away from Rodrigo Robles. It looks like it will stumble out for a throw. Keys to the game, Gary, how do you see them?
Well, from a Greenville point of view, get crosses in for the striker, and the main reason is James Steddon's a 19-year-old goalkeeper. You want to test him in the air. At that age, you're sometimes a little bit reticent coming off your line. So, and of course, when you've got strikers like Robles and Leo Castro, you want to get balls into them. And from a Richmond kicker's point of view, be tight in defense is what Darren Sawatsky said, because he said, we know we can score goals, we just mustn't give them away.
Hit towards goal, and it goes striking wide. Zeke Soto not shy to shoot on the half volley, did not miss out by much.
Confidence there to take that shot. It wasn't an easy one. Long throw in, good weapon to have. He's got lots of space there, Zeke. Just the ball's high up, so he's got to get over it. Not an easy strike, but he wasn't too far off target.
It's a Greenville side that have thrived in those moments, just dropping the ball into the area and trying to thrive in the chaos. As for now, Toby Sims with a stout tackle. Greenville take up possession again. Triumph have been slow starters at times this year. They've allowed 6 goals inside the first 15 minutes this year. It is towards the bottom portion of the league. 11 first half goals as well in that kind of realm. Robles attaching himself. Well riding a tackle and taking aim. Did not miss once more. At that big of a margin, it may have been helped out of play. No, it will be a goal kick.
Nice and sharp from the home side in the first few minutes here. It's another effort, just flies wide, a long way out, all of 30 yards, but hits it really, really well.
Rodrigo Robles, a player that Rick Wright describes for better or for worse as a wild card. Set up as the second man in that strike tandem today. I remember distinctly Gary Rick in a conversation earlier this year saying that we'll put Rodrigo out there, where he goes from there only the Lord knows, and has that player to kind of create from the havoc, if you will.
It's 2 very good strikers, those 2 up front, Leo Castro and Rodrigo Robles.
Robles in the mix immediately.
When you think they've got 2 teenagers, well, Beckett Howell's 20, so but just was a teenager playing in defense. Griffin Garnett at 18. You're not going to come up against 2 more difficult strikers than those 2 up front for Greenville Triumph. So it's a good test for these youngsters.
Searching ball in behind, immediately trying to apply pressure to those joints in the back line. Let's maybe look at it from the perspective of the goalkeeper, James Steddon, as Rick Wright tries to sort things out early. As a young goalkeeper, trying to organize, seeing the whole field there, how does that affect how Steddon plays?
It's a very difficult thing to do, because older players will look over their shoulder and say, well, you're a young kid, you're telling me where to stand, what to do, but that is your job. You just got to have a layer of confidence that says, hey, I've got this, I will tell you where to stand, I will get the ball that then drops in between the spaces. And not easy to do, and that's why testing a young goalkeeper is a sensible thing to do if you're Rick Wright and Greenville Triumph. Maybe he's good enough and he can cope, but there is that question mark of a 19-year-old keeper. Is he going to come and get the crosses?
Greenville have been the most dominant aerial side in the league this year. As they work through the gears and move into the attacking end, it's Chapa Herrera trying to get a little bit sophisticated with his delivery in, and it's quickly snipped out by Richmond. One of those new additions, Marcelo Lange, making his second start for the club. His pass is latched onto by Chapa Herrera, and you mentioned he is the string puller for Greenville Triumph in the mid-park.
Such a clever play, it really is. Oh, another shot that just flies wide there from Rodrigo Robles. And I think they're doing exactly what we've said. They're not, rather than crosses, they're testing or trying to test James Sneddon with long-range shots. I think they'll have more luck perhaps with crosses into the box, but that seems to be the idea here. Give the 19-year-old goalkeeper a tough time, and let's see just how good he is.
They've reached double digits in terms of shots in all but one game this year, Greenville. The efficiency has been the elusive part, but they have the scent early. Zeke Soto, a probing pass into Siobhan Marsh, who struggles to settle. Still Siobhan Marsh, goes skidding off the shin pads of Connor Evans, kept by Robles. Zeke Soto threw it ahead, and it's out for another goal kick. Richmond barrage in the first 10 minutes.
Under huge pressure, Richmond. There's a lot of shots and crosses coming in here. They haven't broken through as yet. But just to build on that key that Darren Sawatsky was saying, we need to be tight in defense because we know we'll score. They are the 4th top scorers in League One, but they've also conceded the 3rd most. So to his point, they score a lot, they concede a lot. If they can stop the conceding, then the chances are that they will score and get themselves a result here today.
It's a Richmond side that came into the year on such a hot stretch of form, had that really tightly packed early part of the campaign. It's cooled off a bit, but Darren Sawatsky has been adamant. They're trying to evolve the style of play and become more attractive. It feels like something the organization feels a responsibility to for their fans.
I think that's true for most teams. You've got to have the fans behind you. And again, just going back to the midweek match at Portland, even Rick Wright saying that the atmosphere was out of this world. He said it was just magnificent. Even though we lost, it was great to enjoy, and that's the sort of atmosphere you want to build as that ball flies high. You want to build it, and the way to build it is to play good soccer, is to have fans come and enjoy the singing, enjoy the sort of music and everything else, bring that English and European vibe in, and you're going to do that when the team is playing good, exciting soccer.
Rudy River Riot always banging on at the back of their Greenville triumph. Rick Wright's done something very similar with Harks as the head coach. Previously, it had been all about sitting in, defending, absorbing pressure, and although that can be effective, it can be a little bit, I guess, grating to the nerves, the anxiety of a fan, watching your team dig in and defend like that. Greenville much more expressive these days as they get on the ball here.
And I guess it's different overseas, and if you're a team in the top sort of 2 or 3 divisions, let's take England for an example, it's hard to even get a ticket to those games.
Sure.
So if you play defensive, the fans will put up with it because, you know, it's just a great opportunity to get into the stadium and watch a game, and they'll turn up no matter what happens. But here in America, you're building the game, so you have to entertain, you have to score goals, you've got to bring the crowd in, you've got to try and keep them. It's a whole different marketing exercise.
Richmond set for the free kick. It's interesting to see how the new clubs, with so many coming into the league, have stood themselves up. Right now enjoying 2 of the sides that were in the vanguard for this division, 2 of the founding members of the USL League One, as Greenville will take for a goal kick.
And of course, you can add something else on top of all that, which is the formation of a new USL League.
Sure.
And there's a chance of promotion relegation in a few years' time, and I think that's going to bring a whole extra dimension to soccer. You're going to see the fans turn up because that's going to be so exciting. And if you were to look at these 2 teams now, you could say, well, they're on the verge of getting into a playoff, but if they have a bad run, they could get drawn into a relegation battle. Suddenly there's an extra element to consider.
Every game will matter in a way that really that's never been the case in a playoff format. There's a lot of positives with the playoff system, but the downside is when you're out of the picture, there's not really much to turn up for. That will not be the case going forward.
As I said, I think the fans will love it. Once they get used to it, you watch the television ratings for those games, and certainly that's how it is in England and most of Europe, is some of the biggest ratings are for the playoff matches.
Without doubt.
Sorry, not the playoff matches, the relegation promotion matches.
Both points even true, and you see in Germany the relegation playoff is such an attractive commodity. As for now, this is quite attractive. Ball across the bow. Siobhan Marsh has somehow delivered one that never found a home as Zeke Soto came scrambling across. Not often you see a goalkeeper see a pass cut behind him like that.
That's trying to see what James Sneddon did here as the ball comes in. He's left a gap, and Siobhan Marsh has played it almost between the goalkeeper and the post. And that could have sneaked in the far post, so the goalkeeper lucky to get away with that one.
Almost as if he had the scouting report in mind there, trying to play off his line a little bit to meet anything in the air. Maybe called into action again. Kirkland with a header, and lapped up easily by Sneddon.
Certainly getting a testing early on as a 19-year-old goalkeeper, and so far hasn't been beaten.
Fricky onto it. Soto. Connor Evans snatched back. Emiliano Terzaghi with some recovering defending there, and Rankenberg will put mitts to it. Quarter hour gone, Gary. Neither side has really been able to establish much of a tempo so far.
I think it's been a good start for Greenville. They've had a lot of shots fired at the goals. They've had some crosses, their balls flashing across the box. I think they'll feel that they've been, I'd say, unlucky not to have scored, but they certainly could be on the scoreboard. If they keep this up, I think they will be, because they certainly are asking questions of the Richmond kickers' defense. Having said that, I don't think Gunther Rankenberg's been tested at all on the other side, so Richmond yet to get themselves into attacking gear.
Download the Fansays app and follow the Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite local restaurants and breweries. This one's now a good game brewing between these two familiar foes. Richmond canter out into the attack. Sky slicing switch of play. Kirkland getting free of Pollock. Josh Kirkland could not locate the man at the penalty spot. May have slinked into an offside position, unable to attach himself once more. He's out for a corner kick.
Such a good player, Josh Kirkland. If you can get the ball to him, he is going to cause problems, as he did there. Head up, looking for someone to pass to. Just can't quite find a teammate. And that's the first decent attack they've had, Richmond kickers.
Pose the threat again, the captain. Dakota Bonathan with an outswinging corner to come. Sailed by everybody. Roll out for a throw. I mentioned Josh Kirkland had the brace against this Greenville side, a guy that, in the words of his manager, Darren Swansky, Gary, talking to him this week, never really had that high-level coaching in college, is starting to come into himself in the game above the game, if you will.
He's got 7 goals this season. He certainly knows where the goal is, and he's got a big size on him. So if you can just teach the soccer IQ, something that's always a bit of a challenge in the States with kids who go to colleges and don't get that day in, day out soccer education. They've got to do a lot of catching up when they eventually finish their studies and join the professional ranks.
Kirkland has been certainly coming into himself in recent weeks, and as you mentioned, a lot of the times, especially just with how it works in the American model, the biggest, fastest guy gets thrown up top, and you just do that because it's what helps you win at the youth level. Maybe not the best thing for development. Kirkland trying to find himself in the professional ranks.
Well, he's second in the Golden Boot here in USL League
Not
One,
bad.
so that's not bad at all. If he is going to improve, then the chances are he'll move up to USL and even higher than that.
Just think about a player like Chapa Herrera, who didn't really have that professional schooling, coming in that El Paso Locomotive setup, as Pollock will try and chase this one down. Kirkland attaching himself. Simon Fitch probing and prying. Cross is blocked at the first blush. Pollock getting the deflection. Now Siobhan Marsh. Wriggling and writhing. And all the way back to Rankenberg to settle the beat a bit.
Siobhan Marsh there just trying to win that ball and took a bit of a knock in the face, getting up slowly, but seems to be okay. There he is, Kirkland. He's a big unit, but he's also playing out wide, which is interesting. You normally have him through the middle. playing him out wide because he's got pace. They said he's actually one of the quickest players in the team.
True.
So if you're tall and you're quick and you're a decent finisher, that's a fantastic combination.
What to say, that seems like an awfully complete package for Siobhan Marsh. Still Marsh, the opposite of Josh Kirkland, standing at 5'2". For Rodrigo Robles. And Marsh again. And Robles again. And it's a point to the spot. Rodrigo Robles upended. A chance to needle in front for Greenville in the first 20 minutes of play. Rodrigo Albuquerque is our center official. Haven't had to say the name yet. A big ruling there, and Greenville from 12 yards. A chance to go ahead.
Siobhan Marsh doing so well there just to pull this ball back, and Robles, he knows there's a contact coming in there from Chandler O'Dwyer. He's such a clever player, just allows the contact to happen. Penalty for Chapa Herrera.
So here is Chapa, eye to eye with the youngster James Snedden. So far on the season, Snedden has failed to save a penalty in 4 previous faced. Greenville so good at home, trying to restore an early advantage against Richmond kickers. Chapa Herrera. It's true, no doubt. Greenville, green light, 1-0 early.
It's a good penalty from Chapa Herrera. Just sticks it to the goalkeeper's left-hand side, the right side, as we look. And whenever you send the goalkeeper the wrong way, then you've got to put it down as a decent penalty. And he scored against Westchester. It was Robles who won that penalty. You can see how he knows his contact coming there, and he just allows the contact to take place. He's not even thinking of trying to score. It's such clever play. Send the goalkeeper the wrong way. So it's a repeat of what they did against Westchester. Let's just hope there's no repeat of Chapa Herrera getting a second yellow, which is what happened against Westchester. Maybe just calm himself down in this match. But I think if we were talking about Kirkland learning about the game, you learn from the likes of Robles. When you get in that box, it's not just about scoring, it's about winning penalties, it's about being clever. And Robles and Leo Castro, well, 2 of the best.
Chapa Herrera, his second on the campaign, and Greenville have the early edge. That goal is presented by YMCA of Greenville. Home side with arms raised, trying to add to their early advantage straight away. We'll see how Richmond, with all the youth in the squad, respond to this early deficit.
Now, it's a problem for Darren Sawatsky, as we said in the keys. You want to keep it tight in defense, because you know the likes of a Josh Kirkland might come up with a goal for you, but now 1-0 down, you start having to chase the game. But it's what Greenville need at home. They've struggled on the road so much this season. Greenville triumph at home. They've been fairly reasonable. And Rick Wright's saying they just play with more confidence. They're more assured at home. And that's certainly how it's seemed in this first 20-odd minutes.
Decisive ball in behind. Again, Toby Sims. That is some striking defending from him to take it off the feet. The oncoming Landon Johnson, it's out for a throw. In the first 5 minutes after a go-ahead goal like that, how important is it to keep focus, and how do you do that if you're Greenville?
Just remind each other. That's what a coach tells you all the time. Those 5 minutes after scoring is so crucial, because you can relax. You can sort of take in the atmosphere and the pleasure of being 1-0 up. And you just got to keep reminding each other. Just, hey, everyone around me, just concentrate. Let's not do anything silly. Let's not do anything different. Let's make sure we're sharp. And then once that 5 minutes is over, then the game gets back into its normal rhythm.
Toby Sims taking it out. He is a bit of a catapult when throwing the ball in. Robles now on this far flank takes a bit of a knock. Play immediately whistled down by Rodrigo Albuquerque. Any kind of concern for a head injury, and this is the right protocol. It was Dakota Barnathan, the captain, who found himself entangled going in to try and win the header.
I think it's Robles who was on the other end of that connection, and it seems that Barnathan's come off worse, maybe on the front of his face as opposed to the back of Robles' head. But To your point, whenever that happens, stop the game. Good refereeing there from Rodrigo Albuquerque. Never take any risks with head injuries.
This would be a big blow to an already battered Richmond kicker's side to lose their captain if he can't continue to go to Barnathan. Ryan Bayer would be the natural player to maybe slide into that metronomic number 6 role. He's just come in from Tacoma Defiance. As those fans are celebrating the early go-ahead provided by Chopper Herrera.
It's Shavon here, does so well. He got the ball from Robles, gives it back to him. Just Robles' awareness of where the players, as he gets the ball, he knows there's contact coming in. You can see number 27, Chando Dwyer, tries to get his body out the way, but Robles just leans into him, makes sure there's contact. Then Chap Herrera just sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, as he did a few weeks ago against Westchester. Good finish, but the clever work for me is from Robles and some decent support work there from Chevron Marsh, who scored in the match midweek as well, so he's turning out to be a very important player for Greenville at the moment.
Off the bench to scoring consecutive matches, earning himself the start today. And just in maybe closing the loop on that sequence there, Gary, as Chandler O'Dwyer gets a hold of one. Just talking about keeping it tight defensively for Darren Sawatsky. A little bit casual, allowing Greenville to advance the ball ahead of the penalty, ultimately draw blood in the end.
Half the problem is they haven't been able to attack much until the last 5 minutes, Richmond, so they've been sitting in defense. Ooh, question marks, no.
Something expected from the referee there. Whistle never comes. Bit of a bang, but Richmond continue. A cross coming in and ducked away for what will be a corner kick and maybe a chance to look back at the no penalty given.
You can see they're appealing to the referee, Richmond kickers. There was contact behind on their striker and he went down. Was there enough contact? Let's have a look as this ball is played in now. There, they're coming together. I don't think it's a penalty. I think the Richmond player comes into contact with the Greenville defender. But that's a close call.
Delivered in. More than a hopeful hit. Will roll out for a throw. Nonetheless, Richmond's best looking attacking move, though, the game comes in that moment.
Yeah, we're talking about them defending, and the best way of defending, obviously, is to be on the attack, is not to be sitting back. And unfortunately for Richmond, they just couldn't get anything going first 20 or so minutes. And with shots coming in, crosses coming in, and eventually they concede. Now, beginning to attack a little bit more.
Leo Castro comes in for the tackle. Rodrigo Robles licensed to shoot. And as a player playing with plenty of ambition early on. See it work one way, earning the penalty. That might have been a little bit wasteful.
Yeah, he just saw James Sneddon off his line. He was just on the edge of his box. It's got to be one hell of a strike. If a goalkeeper's 30, 35 yards out, yes, but when you're only 18 yards out, it's fairly easy to get back and cover your goal.
Hard to meet it with the kind of pace and accuracy required from that deep of a distance. Off of Castro. Physicality starting to ratchet up a little bit in the mid-park, not for the faint of heart. Dakota Barnathan is back in the game as he puts himself right at the heart of this move, slashed away by Fricky.
Triumph fans, Christmas in July is here. Celebrate with some great deals like 40% off all outerwear and on Liberty end of the season sale. Plus get the chance to snag some new arrivals like our authentic third kit or third kit pint glass and tumbler. Head to the
Back in the Sneddon, Castro hot on his heels. Chandler O'Dwyer. Oh, that is some ball. Josh Kirkland's overlapping run from Simon Fitch, who gets it in ahead of the byline. It's a bit of awkward defending, but well done by Toby Sims and cleared by Chapa Herrera. Robles at the controls again. Twisting a whirling dervish as he widens the play. Zeke Soto. Reinforcements coming for Greenville. Still Soto. A solo run into the box. Soto has a strike. Castro moonshots one. It's another nearly moment for Greenville. What an effort from Zeke Soto.
Zeke Soto doing so well down that right-hand side. And when it comes to Leo Castro, of all the players you think should come to who can finish it here, you're thinking he'll get over the ball, he'll get it on target, and he doesn't. He hits it completely. But a good play down that right-hand side. And all started from Rodrigo Robles. Gets the ball in the center circle, just holds onto it, keeps possession, plays it out to Zeke Soto in space, and then that allows Greenville to build a really, really good attack.
With Triumph, 3 straight victories ahead of 2 straight losses this past week. 3rd game in 8 days for them. You wondered if they would have that spark. It really feels like they're playing with a degree of invention and ingenuity throughout all 11 players on the field right now.
We're having a laugh with Rick Wright midweek just before the Portland Hearts of Pine game. And we were saying, you're just outside the playoffs, but your team are so high in so many of the rankings. Connor Evans, most crosses in the USL. He's top in chances created. And Robles has been scoring goals. Leo Castro is joint second in the Golden Boot. And there was a whole bunch of other very, very high stats. And he said, yeah, we just snake bit. He said, things just keep going wrong for us. And then what happens in that match? Seth Tolman lets one through his legs, and Brett Lee gives a bad pass, and they end up losing 3-1. And once again, Rick Wright's left, just ruining the things that are not going right. So today, maybe it's going to go right for Rick Wright.
Well put. It really has only felt like Greenville have been outclassed on maybe a couple of occasions this year. The record does not reflect that, but a side that if they can find the beat could be very dangerous. Delivered in by Connor Evans from deep. Nudged away by Richmond, who look to get out on the break now. A wise heady play from Zeke Soto, the teenager. Engaging maybe in a little bit of the dark arts there with a professional foul to stop that counter. Well, Gary, we were talking about some of the small margins in the game before kickoff and things like this. Smart play from Zeke Soto to stop this upcoming counter.
It's unnecessary because it's so deep in their own half, their Richmond kickers. They're not really a threat to goal. If that's outside your box, yeah, I get it. But now he's got to tread carefully on that yellow card. And we're just talking about Greenville Triumph shooting themselves in the foot midweek with mistakes, goalkeeper mistakes, bad passes. They've had red cards unnecessarily.
Siobhan Marsh blurring away. Richmond scramble in defense, and Juliano Terzaghi drops down to win the whistle.
Just talking about those red cards. Zane Bubb in the previous match got sent off in the 21st minute for a dog-so, denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Chapa Herrera got a second yellow in the 69th minute. So game after game, you know, Rick Wright's players have let themselves down and the team down. And just looking at that yellow for Zeke Soto and saying, please just be careful now. You know, football intelligence, football IQ, they say, once you're on a yellow, don't lunge in, keep your elbows down, don't give the referee any reason to give you that second yellow.
Some fanciful dribbling on this near side. Fitch flying one high. Sims heady play to knock it back to his goalkeeper. Visit shoptriumph.com to check out the latest merch and kit launches. Gary, I want your evaluation on the home strip for Greenville. What do we think with the sash?
Yeah, I like the strips. I mean, I'm not a aficionado of all the strips. I can't tell you which is the best and which is not. I'm more about the home crowd. I love crowds that sing songs and get into it. And already we've seen the Greenville Triumph have a nice group.
Siobhan Marsh trying to lift those people in the stands as Marsh has his shot blocked. Not the best clearance. Connor Evans can't find a way through. Castro's shot is blocked. 3 successive blocks from Richmond kickers, and Terzaghi is tilting the field. Nobody's home though.
Terzaghi using his knowledge and skills a little bit deeper and using the pace of Josh Kirkland more as the top player, the player who's most likely to get past the defense of Greenville Triumph.
Terzaghi involved again. He's been active so far, the veteran. His foul is awarded. Chapa Herrera. He's had his encounters with officials in recent weeks, had never been sent off. 100+ professional appearances in his career until the last 15 games where he's been sent off twice. So for Richmond in this final 15 minutes of the half, what do you need to see from them?
They certainly have been better in the last 10-15 minutes. They've been on the front foot a bit more often. Still haven't seen them test Gunter Rankenberg at all. And I think that's the ultimate test. But it has been a lot more positive. The problem is they've now got to keep it tight. They can't afford to go 2 down. So all the time they're going to have to be defensively clever at the same time as trying to get the likes of Josh Kirkland on that right-hand side. I think he's the real dangerous player. Get the ball to him. Maybe things will happen for Richmond kickers.
It will be a tall ask for them. For Richmond, Greenville have only dropped 2 points from winning positions at home this year. Joint least in the USL League One to date, just past the midway points. Sims spinning one wide for Siobhan Marsh. Swaggering forward, trying to bend by Fitch, just put off enough for Sneddon to arrive.
He had the pace to beat Fitch as well. He was gone, and the Fitch had an elbow out trying to slow him down, but James Sneddon reading that really well.
Throwing to Cup. Back in circulation. If you're just now joining us, Greenville took the edge by way of Chapa Herrera, converting from the penalty spot. That happening just around the 20th minute. Rodrigo Robles, after a lovely bit of interplay with Siobhan Marsh, was the one who was able to win the spot kick. Chapa Herrera just missing out on the tackle. Bear, only his second appearance competitively for the club. O'Dwyer. Sloping in and beyond the reach of the oncoming Simon Fitch. A lot of the play coming down this near-hand side for Richmond.
Fitch and Josh Kirkland, a very dangerous combination. And obviously you're going to play to your best players, which seems to be the right-hand side for Richmond. But still, haven't really tested Gunter Rankenberg. That to me is the key. That's what's going to be worrying, I would think, Darren Sawatsky is, yeah, nice play, guys, in attack, but their goalkeeper hasn't even had to make a dive as yet, and we need to change that.
The one shot for Richmond, none on target. Rankenberg has not been tested in his re-entry into the lineup after being dropped for Seth Torman in the midweek.
Heartbreak for Seth Torman, just when he had a chance to try and fight for that #1 jersey, lets that quite straightforward shot from Washington go straight through his legs, and a crucial time. That went 2-0 down there, and then you're chasing the game from a Greenville perspective. And goalkeeper's all about trying to limit the mistakes, and unfortunately a bad one like that, and Seth Torman drops back down to the bench.
Rick Wright, even in that, was very complimentary of the Portland fans who didn't really give him any stick after that. Actually, in fact, found them in the hotel after the game and encouraged Seth. Trying to make him feel a little bit better, but always hard to stomach a mistake like that as a competitor at any level. As for now, it's Siobhan Marsh connecting all the dots. Chapa Herrera. Arriving on the scene is Tyler Pollock. Greenville in no particular hurry.
You mentioned those fans at Portland, and I thought just fantastic. And a good measuring stick if you're Greenville, or even if you're Richmond. You want to be saying, hey, let's try and match that level of participation, numbers that turned up, the bouncing up and down they were doing, the singing, and the fact that they, as you say, they were good to Seth Torman. They weren't nasty fans. They were good-spirited fans, and I think that's wonderful to see, and it's a challenge to all other clubs in USL League One to try and match what Portland are doing.
Certainly has raised the bar, what's happening in the Northeast. Wide for Toby Sims. Linking with Leo Castro, whose first touch is heavy. Siobhan Marsh, freedom to roam, freedom to shoot. His shot is blocked. It will be a corner for Greenville. Triumph have been much more useful this year on set pieces. Tied for the top of the division in set piece goals this year. Most of them have come actually on indirect free kicks, but they have scored a couple corners, mostly because of this man, Connor Evans. Already has set the club record for dead ball chances created in 2025, just past halfway played this season. He licks his chops with an outswinging corner to come. Greenville leaving a lot of bodies towards the top of the area. And it's a biteless effort off the head of Zane Bubb. Play is going to be brought back as Sten went a little bit too quickly.
I think there's a few shouts of hay from the bench. I wonder if that's the Richmond bench saying, well, our goalkeeper saw an opportunity and took it. Why are you slowing the game down? But the referee just having a word there with Leo Castro. Perhaps there was something that went on when that corner was taken that he felt he had to address first.
Leo Castro, 37 years of age. James Stetton is the youngest goalkeeper in League One history to ever make his 20th appearance. There is a gulf that is going to be interesting to track throughout this game. Inexperience as that ball is out of play, and Richmond go back to their own end ahead of a throw.
And again, great credit to Darren Sawatsky for playing a young goalkeeper, giving him his chance, and that's the only way he's going to grow in confidence. And Griffin Garnett at 18, Beckett Howell at 20, Landon Johnson at 18. Takes a brave manager and good support from the ownership to make those decisions, because obviously if you don't get results, the fans will want to know why. But a manager who does that, or coach who does that, maybe just bring through that one player that you can sell on at some good profit.
Sure.
And that's what it's all about. But Darren Sawatsky, great credit to him, and of course the front office and ownership who's supporting him.
And it's a little bit different for a field player to give them that shout early on than it is a goalkeeper, correct? To make them the number one in their teenage years.
Very much so. For goalkeepers, you want the experience, you want the players who have made errors at a lower level and don't make the errors for you. But again, if you are a talented young goalkeeper, certainly James Sneddon seems to be the only way you're going to go up the ladder, is to be tested by good pros, older pros, pros who are bigger, stronger than you, better developed, can jump higher. That's what's going to test you, and that's what James Sneddon is facing at the moment.
As he faces yet another long throw, Sims allowed to come over and claim this on the near side, the fullback. Knocked off course, underneath the studs of Connor Evans. Widen for Sims, who goes it again. Off the foot of Castro. Rodrigo Robles, that was ambitious. It's ducked away. Soto was thrown into the path of the ball, and should be a free kick for Greenville coming. Just a brief word for Emiliano Turzaghi.
There was a little bit of a shove in the back, not much, but enough, certainly. And this was a question of a yellow card coming from Greenville Triumph players. You just have to be careful with referees. There's a way to talk to them and deal with them. It is respectful. You ask the question, really, is that a yellow card? And it's got to be, there's a certain way to deal with them that doesn't get you into trouble. If you start getting aggressive with referees, more and more so these days, they're protecting themselves. And I agree with them. I wouldn't want to be a referee and have people screaming and shouting at me for 90 minutes. So, I think that if you treat them respectfully, then you'll get a good response from them.
There's a cumulative effect in that as well throughout the course of a game. Charted in by Connor Evans. Beckett Howell unable to alleviate the danger. Evans trying to track down his own free kick miss. And onto it again. Still Connor Evans. And swept out by Griffin Garnett. Greenville putting the screws to their opposition late on in the first half. First half that they have totally dominated. This could prove costly though. Josh Kirkland on a run. Left wide, Bayer back in for Kirkland. And just in the nick of time, Zane Bubb arrives. That was nervy for Greenville.
Once again, it's Josh Kirkland, isn't it? When he gets the ball, he's so quick, he's so dangerous. And Ryan Bayer knows that. He'll just try to play him in there. If they keep giving the ball to Josh Kirkland, there's a good chance they will get a reward for it in the course of these 90 minutes, but he certainly has been the brightest spark for the kickers in the first half.
Only 3 touches in the opposition box this half so far for Richmond. That is compared to 19 for Greenville Triumph, who lead the league in that category. At this current trajectory, they would set the season high mark for anybody, that being 39 by themselves earlier this year. Something to defend though ahead of the half. Bit of a cheaply given away free kick.
They haven't had much going for them, kickers, so a good ball into the box gives some of the centre backs like Griffin Garnett and Beckett Howell, Marcelo Large, all big guys, get them in there, give them something to attack.
Large standing at 6'6", at the time that he played for Las Vegas Lights 2 years ago. Was the tallest player in that club's history, one of the tallest in the league. He's lurking. It just gets beyond him. It's still there, hung up awkwardly for Toby Sims. Didn't look like Griffin Garnett really knew much about that, and it's out for a corner kick.
It's a decent ball in. It certainly causes problems for the defense. All those big players coming in, and it just drops. Toby Sims reacting very quickly, but now a corner to defend, and once again, all those big players in that box. If it's delivered well here by Bonathan, it could cause a lot of problems.
Go to Bonathan, the captain, dialing in the range. At the near post, comes fizzing across. The ruling is that it was last touched by a kicker's player, but that's a good effort.
There's good whipped in corner, and a touch at the near post there, probably by O'Dwyer, and just flashes past the goals of Gunter Rankenberg. Again, as we approach half-time, Darren Sawatsky is going to look at this and think, we haven't tested the goalkeeper once. Therein lies the problem.
Might be a good man to do that, though. Scored against Greenville in the last meeting. Scored in the friendly. The lone tally against Leganes. Some touch from Tyler Polak.
Although I think they played 9 teenagers in that match against Leganes, and that's a really good result. 1-1 against the Spanish second division side, a side that last season beat both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And that's a high level. Yes, they are just starting their season. Maybe they're not 100% fit, but with 9 teenagers, it's a very, very decent draw.
Darren Sawatsky was super excited about it. Felt like it's something that Richmond as a club, one of the historic teams, not only in the USL, but just in the US, has been working towards to host one of those big European teams and kind of show their community what they're about. A point of pride for an organization that's still looking to aspire long into their American soccer journey. By Leo Castro, Siobhan Marsh. Rodrigo Robles doing a wonderful job in hold-up. And sprays a ball in behind for Toby Sims. He was queuing for it. It's a corner.
Landon Johnson doing really well there to head that away for Richmond kickers, but that's the skill of the likes of Robles, the awareness, the ability to bring the ball down, turn, bring other players into play. Quality balls, and it puts defenders under stress, so they have to give away things like corners.
It's Connor Evans again, seeing if he can widen the gap just ahead of the curtain fall. Once more without swing. Snedden comes for it, and he judged that quite well.
Does it very, very well. That'll give him huge confidence, the goalkeeper. Coming and claiming the ball, good timing, and I assume good communication because his defenders didn't get in his way.
Siobhan Marsh with a tap dance. And he hits the turbo. Siobhan Marsh pressing the issue, firing a goal and ducked away. A diving stop from James Snedden. 2 strong paws, and that brings about the end of the first half. A little lift into the break. Richmond kickers, not much else to celebrate. Chapo Herrera, the point of difference after 45 minutes.
Nice save again from James Snedden, who's been tested in this first half, but really it's all about the penalty, and that's just extremely clever play from Rodrigo Robles to win that penalty, and that's what separates the 2 teams at halftime.
So we hit the intermission, and it's Richmond kickers with all the doing needing to be done in the second half. Rick Wright's bunch of merry men, a goal to the good. The Upstate Spine and Sport halftime report coming to you on the other side the break.
Dance like nobody's watching. Except when people are watching, like your roommate and the new boyfriend you forgot she was bringing over. Believe in yourself. But know your limits, because right before an interview really isn't the time to try being a hairstylist. Anything is possible. So yes, winning is possible. But so is not winning, which means sometimes the best way to play actually is to save some possibility for another day. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting better players and a better you.
At Johnston Orthodontics, we combine art and science to create your perfect smile. After a thorough exam with x-rays and digital models, we design custom aligners tailored just for you. With our on-site 3D resin printer, these designs come to life, ensuring a perfect fit every time. Ready to tame your smile? Call us today at Johnston Orthodontics.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
Flights from GSP International Airport just got easier. Breeze Airways now offers nonstop flights to 8 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees at convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight from GSP today.
At the Upstate Spine and Sport halftime report, it is 1-0 to Greenville Triumph. Winning is fun, back pain is not. Let's keep you moving after the game. Call Upstate Spine and Sport, the official chiropractor and massage therapist of the Greenville Triumph. Richmond will be the ones trying to sort things out in the dressing room. As for the team of the week, plenty of players making an impact around the division. It's Danny the Bull, Danny Fernandez, who is the player of the week. Matt Poland's bunch putting in a star performance, as well as Carson Henderlong and Mark Torres find themselves in the chosen 11. Hunter Morse, the goalkeeper of Portland Hearts of Pine, in the best 11 for the week. His performance against Greenville Triumph was quite impressive as well in the midweek. As for the coach of the month, it's Brian Claiborne's bunch that has been writing the headlines. The headman of Avialta is the coach of the month and the player of the month. Eduardo Blancas as well, that Avialta group in such good form right now.
First touch so telling for Avialta. So many talented players. Desdune, one of them, picks out a teammate and slotted home brilliantly by Blancas. Blancas will go for the hat trick. Oh, he's got it! Oh my! Unreal!
Much more to get into here at the Upstate Spine and Sport halftime report. Greenville up a goal. Much more coming to you from the Low Country when we return. Greenville Triumph in the catbird seat.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, Termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
The back off the goal kick, Williams!
And Molina in the box, keeper's out, he scores!
What exactly is a Sully steamer? Our sandwiches are made to order, which means once you've taken a look at our big menu and narrowed down your options, we go to work. Our sandwiches are stuffed with fresh, flavorful ingredients and then placed in our special steamer until the sandwich gets warm and soft and fuses all the flavors together to achieve the peak of tastiness. Are you hungry yet?
Back from the break here in South Carolina at the half between Richmond Kickers and Greenville Triumph. A look at the news and notes from around the division, and it is rolling in quite fast and hot as all the new teams being brought in. Gary, such a good sight to see these sides expanding the depth of the league.
Yeah, adding in extra sporting directors, so important to manage the clubs and to grow the clubs. And looking at Portland Hearts of Pine, they've got a fantastic support there, and great to see them getting some wins. They were brilliant against Texoma, and also not too bad against Greenville Triumph in midweek.
Absolutely taking down Greenville in that one. Greenville trying to get up off the tarp here today. As for the other results rolling in from around the league, I know, Gary, we were talking about Chattanooga Red Wolves, what they've been doing this year, playing against the ball, taking down Spokane Velocity 3-0 in that one. Chattanooga certainly for real and punching up at the big boys here this year. Westchester able to come back against One Knox, get that result after falling behind inside the first 5 minutes of that game. As for the upcoming schedule from around the division, that Madison versus South Georgia Tormenta game will not be in the Jägermeister Cup. Everything else, though, on your screen will be important. Westchester on the national stage against Detroit City FC. Pretty cool for League One.
It's a tough match for them, as it is for Portland hosting Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Probably side give you very little there, but with that wonderful support they have there at Hearts of Pine, it could be a tough match for Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
It has been quite an experience in the Jägermeister Cup, as is with this. The Experience, presented by El Jimador. Spike Bebidas is a video docu-series that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and their supporter groups. The latest episode showcases Rhode Island FC and their support group Defiant 1636, and it's available on youtube.com/USL.
We want to be the loudest people around. We want you to hear where we are at.
No one thought we would do what we did against Louisville. We were hot, we were clicking, we were scoring goals.
Even after the whistle blew and they were champions, forget about it. Raise your scarves, we kept playing. I don't think I've heard a louder scream from a group of people than we did that night. That's the important thing about this group. They never stop loving their team.
Just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe. Woo! Let's take this thing higher. Higher than you ever been. Stand tall like Everest. I mean higher. You ain't gotta settle in. Go places they never been. We go higher. Non-stop. Take it to the top even when the ball drops. My man, we go higher. Woo! Let's take this thing. Non-stop. It's time to go higher.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice, serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
Every day, we get the privilege to serve you, sharing local stories on all your screens.
The first alert on breaking news sent through the Fox Carolina News app.
Serving you with the earliest heads up on storms through the Fox Carolina First Alert weather app.
Live and on-demand newscasts.
Fox Carolina Investigations.
On your streaming TV.
Your stories told right here.
Fox Carolina News.
I'm Rick Wright, head coach of the Greenville Triumph Soccer Club. The Triumph play here on Palmetto Sports and Entertainment.
Watch using antenna on channel 21.2 or on Spectrum 703. The Greenville Triumph play here. Palmetto Sports.
El Greenville Triumph y Liberty están orgullosos de asociarse con Telemundo Carolina del Sur. Vean Telemundo Carolina del Sur para mantenerte informado con noticias locales en español y disfrutar de toda la increíble programación de Telemundo. Disponible gratis con antena en el canal 31.1.
This week on USL All Access, the new Tampa Bay Rowdies head coach Tom Casciato and the Hartford Athletic head coach Brendan Burke joins us ahead of their big matchup here in Rhode Island.
El Clamaco, one of the crown jewels of the USL Championship, Centerville Bank Stadium takes center stage on CBS. They're healthy. Are the results going to follow? Both coaches break down why they think success is in the future.
Tonight's match is presented by McMillan, Paston, and Smith, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. Halftime highlights brought to you by McMillan, Paston, and Smith. Greenville Triumph will enjoy most of them. Gary Bailey early on, 5 minutes into the game, they were already knocking at the door.
Zeke Soto here has an effort that just flies past the post. Decent strike, and early on, Greenville Triumph on the front foot. Robles here, he has a shot as well. A lot of power behind it, but just slightly off target.
All signs of things to come as in the 9th minute, Rodrigo Robles would queue up once more. He was right at the heart of many of the best attacking moments for Greenville Triumph, as he would be later on in the frame as he plays this ball through to Siobhan Marsh. It's a cross that comes across the goal mouth, squirts free, and this would be the moment that matters, starting with Robles into Marsh. Returns the ball, Robles winning the penalty.
Yeah, does so well just to get the contact there with Chandler O'Dwyer. He knows it's coming. Chap Herrera sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, tucks it in the back of net. Same side as he put it against Westchester in that 3-0 win. And you'll see the stats, 14 shots to 2. I don't think Gunter Rankenberg has even got a sweat going yet. Hasn't had a save to make possessions even, but that doesn't really count much these days. It's what you do with the possession. So for Richmond kickers, they've got to get the goalkeeper working if they're going to get back in this match. They haven't done enough first half, but they could turn it around in the second half.
Anything can happen. I'll give you one more stat. Feels like 100 degrees, which with the way that this game has gone could certainly weigh heavy on Richmond. As for the all-time clashes between these two familiar foes, that man Liam McKinnon, Greenville Triumph fans plenty familiar with him. These teams have seen each other so much down the years. This game has only ever finished with goals. There's never been a 0-0. That will not be the case today. There's plenty of excitement to expect in the second half if Richmond maybe can't turn this thing around. Greenville Triumph and Richmond kickers coming down the stretch. Gary, as a player, this time of year you understand there are just less games to make a difference.
Yeah, certainly for both these sides, being 4 points off a playoff place becomes even more vital for Richmond kickers. Right now, Greenville Triumph will feel, you know what, we win this one at home, we're right back on the fringe of a playoff spot. But for Richmond kickers, you do not want to be 4 points adrift. 1 win in 13, all those stats are not good stats to have. So I expect to see Darren Sawatsky's team come out fighting here in the second half. But you've got to look at Greenville Triumph up front and think, Siobhan Marsh has been good. Leo Castro, we haven't seen him do much, but he can turn it on. And for me, the star of the show, Rodrigo Robles, so far. So the players are on Greenville Triumph side. I think the desire is going to be coming from Richmond kickers in the second half.
You look at the reinforcements available. Richmond stretched so thin. No Niels Soyford in the team. Darwin Aspinall has been that primary X-factor man for them. He's not available today. As we are back in motion with a bit of shell from Richmond kickers. Goes out for a throw. You look at the respective benches, the depth. Feels like Richmond has to start quickly here.
Yeah, they certainly haven't got the same depth that Greenville have in the players. Oh, that ball came in.
It comes in again. That is the kind of quick start that you like to see from Richmond, the closest thing to a shot on target they've had so far.
Yeah, it's the first time Gunter Rankenberg's actually had to sort of shift his body and move around much there. And it gets headed clear out of his hands from Zane Bub, and was just out of his goal there for a moment. Gets himself back in. We were just talking about some of the subs that Greenville can turn to. Rapapa Mensah's on the bench, Ben Zakowski, Carlos Anguiano. These are all really good players. So to your point, they probably have a stronger bench than Richmond kickers do. Kickers going through a difficult time with injuries.
Pascal Corvino back from injury after missing much of the season. He's available as a reserve today. Greenville in a position to shift the equation even further if they so choose. Richmond with much to do. Zane Bub thrust away. Richmond rushing into the final third and easily capped by Gunther Rankenberg. At least some questions being asked now of the Greenville #1.
Yeah, first time we've seen him have to do anything. Nobody challenging, but at least the ball's in the box. Now, step number 2 for kickers is to start getting some bodies up there to challenge the goalkeeper. And you can see from the expected goals, just 0.13 for Richmond first half. That's next to nothing. 1.81 for Greenville. Well, 0.8 of that comes from the penalty, but still 1 from the rest. So just shows they deserve their lead. They've been the far more attacking side of the two in the first half.
The USL won on ESPN2. Watch July 26th for a Jägermeister Cup clash between Detroit City FC and league newcomer Westchester SC on Saturday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. The league has come so far. Still kind of a crazy sentence to say that USL League One side will be on the world's flagship sports station. Pretty amazing thing to see how the game has grown, specifically how the United Soccer League has grown.
And it will keep growing when it has another league at the very top and you have promotion relegation. I just think there's wonderful times ahead, and every time we speak to the coaches, they say they're excited for what the next few years has in the USL. The players are excited. There's more money. They're being able to buy better and better players, which means the standard of the game is going up. So it's just positive times all around for the USL.
Just looking at what's happening this year as Greenville engage their press. Already seen Luis Alvarez, the biggest transfer fee from a USL Championship side to a USL League One side. Dom Casciato brought up from a USL League One side to a championship side to be the manager in Tampa Bay. Just feels like there's a growing relationship from a transactional perspective between the leagues already through the Jägermeister Cup. You wonder how that will affect things if we move into a new era with promotion and relegation.
It's brilliant for the coaches. They got a chance to make more money, to make a real job out of it.
Sure.
For many of them, for the players as well, there's a chance to make some decent money. They don't have many years in which to put money aside for the future. Some of them have been to college, university. They're going to be okay, but those who haven't need to make money while they can.
Here's Lyndon Johnson, unable to catch up is Beckett Howell. Two of those young academy players that are making a name for themselves, starting their professional careers early for Richmond.
Good to see Beckett Howell there. Again, first half, we didn't see him go forward much. It does seem that Darren Sawatsky's given the players license to push up, to try and high press Greenville to some extent. Of course, that leaves less numbers in defense, which means they could be vulnerable in transition.
Quick reach for the pocket from Rodrigo Albuquerque as Toby Sims was cut down. The second booking we've seen today.
Ryan Bayer coming in a little bit late there with that tackle. It goes to ground again. If you just stay on your feet, there's a lot less chance of picking up yellow cards. Once you commit and you go to ground, and you provide a barrier that players have to leap over, then this is what happens. So he will have to tread carefully, as Zeke Soto has been since he picked up his yellow in the first half.
Something to keep track of as we move through the game. Well settled by Rodrigo Robles, who continues to press his importance. Shuffled into Chapo Herrera. Eyes up with space. Fanning wide for Sims and Soto. shy of an oncoming Connor Evans, but at their best, Greenville, that fluidity, that ability for players to move around and find the space, that's where they can really hurt teams.
That's a good one-touch play, and again, if you're going to knock it up front, the likes of Leo Castro and Rodrigo Robles are good players to hold on to the ball, bring others into play. You do wonder again why Greenville aren't in the top 8, because I agree with Rick Wright's sentiment. There's just so many good players, and he says they can only get snake bit so many times with red cards and silly errors in defense as they had in Portland. So perhaps today is one of those days where things do go well for the Triumph.
Really feels like ever since they brought in Toby Sims, things have all come together. There have been holes in the team to go with that talent that you mentioned, but now it feels like the full team concept is certainly there. Since his arrival, Toby Sims, Greenville are allowing 3.5 fewer shots per 90, 2.2 fewer shots on target per 90, conceded just over half a goal per game less. Really speaks to a very high ceiling for this Triumph bunch that every year will have aspirations of challenging for a title. Launched in by Sims, Castro. Now Zeke Soto and Sims firing it across from deep. Nobody's really there to receive. It's a rudderless bit of clearing from Simon Fitch and a throw for Greenville. Connor Evans and Chapo Herrera. Richmond extending to try and apply some pressure. Chapo Herrera trying to organize in this first phase of build-up some of the hidden values in his game. Zane Bubb. Soto, a little bit casual. Greenville cut in to win it back. Snedden.
So Soto chasing that ball. He gave 2 bad passes there. And his game is built around being very, very accurate, playing in the midfield there. You can't afford to keep giving the ball away.
For it is Rankenberg just finishing out on Soto. Both sides of the coin of a young player. Maybe the mishap, lapse in focus, giving the ball away, but then the energy to chase it back and try and hurry Richmond kickers. Sims in for it, unable to make it stick. Now it's Chapo Herrera. He wiggles and whittles and ultimately goes a bridge too far. Emiliano Terzaghi off the back heel. Who wants it? The answer is Toby Sims.
See Terzaghi a little bit upset there, just clapping his hands and saying to the others, come, we need to be sharper, quicker. He wants to be on the ball more often. Given how good a player he is, it must be very frustrating for Emiliano Terzaghi not to get more of the ball, not to be able to influence the game in a bigger way.
Sims setting for the throw. Gary, it feels like he's been very isolated so far today.
Terzaghi?
Yes.
Yes, very much so. And when you're a good player and you know that you can do good things, it's you see him there just slapping his hands against his thighs. You just want to be more involved. As I would think Josh Kirkland's probably feeling the same. He knows that he can be a match winner, but he needs to get the ball in order to do that. It's all part of being in a team environment. Never easy.
There was a time where Emiliano Terzaghi could do it all by himself in a way that very few players in this league's history really could. Siobhan Marsh trying to do much of the same. Last-ditch stuff from Simon Fitch with the alarm bells ringing. Greenville want to go fast with the throw. Second goal, all important for Greenville at this stage. Richmond have shown some signs of attacking intent. We'll feel encouraged with every passing moment that this gap does not widen.
I think that's sort of pretty obvious next step for Greenville. You want to get that second goal, give yourself a little bit of a cushion, and in case something goes wrong, you can still win this game 2-1. So if they're at home, which they are, and that the onus is on them to get the 3 points, and they have to be the aggressor. Besides which, a team as good as Greenville should be in the playoffs, and the 3 points will take them very close. To your point, they do need a second goal, because all the time it stays 1-0, Richmond will feel, you know what, we just need one little moment of magic, and we can take at least a point away.
The skying header from Brendan Fricke. Skids out of play. You know, I say this a lot, Gary, but I think it really is true. The reason why we love this game is it's the lowest scoring on earth, and that really means only one bounce of a ball can entirely change things. Greenville in a position here where they invite that. With every passing moment, they do not extend the lead. Keyed out by Zane Bubb.
That's why we get so many shocks in cup football. You can defend, and you can be lucky on the day and defend well, not concede, have one little moment of magic, or a deflected goal, or a penalty, or any one of a number of things, and walk away with a shock victory. That's why we love the game.
Stepped away at the first advance from Richmond kickers. Able to keep it on. And Siobhan Marsh, you start to feel the tension slacken a bit from Greenville. Pressing on, Landon Johnson. Could not clear that last line of defense. Greenville starting to hunker a bit. An hour gone as Rick Wright readies some potential substitutions. Rodrigo Robles. Robles working through the gears, still unimpeded. Finally clattered down by Dakota Barnathan, who had seen enough, the captain. Ryan Bear. Game starting to stretch a little bit now. Joining up in the attack is Simon Fitch. Line splitting ball into an overlapping Landon Johnson. Out for a goal kick. Fans, don't miss the action. Secure tickets today at triumphtix.com. A big one coming to you up next. FC Naples in town at the weekend. Greenville Triumph, the best chance, you would say, of all the League One sides to move out of their group. Get out into the knockout of the Jägermeister Cup. That will be a huge one coming up on Saturday, July 26th.
Just wondering if the coaches now looking at their benches, deciding whether to bring on fresh legs. As you said, for Darren Sawatsky, it's a problem that so many players are injured. He hasn't got that depth on the bench that maybe can make the difference that he wants. But certainly, I feel they have to do something different if they want to get points from this match, the visitors. So will they make a change, bring on somebody fresh, give them a chance to attack this Greenville defense?
Snatched up by Leo Castro. Castro rampaging. Siobhan Marsh now onto it. Siobhan Marsh, it's blocked, and it skips wide. It was a harrowing deflection. James Snedden left at the mercy as that ball just misses wide.
Just looking at Siobhan Marsh in the first half, and now with that bit of movement, I think he's played himself into the starting lineup. Too good a player not to have there. His pace, his dribbling, and the fact that he scored in the previous 2 games. I think he's a player who Coach Rick Wright will almost certainly have as a starter going forward from now.
Player that Rick Wright a couple weeks ago gave a match week off as he was dealing with some personal issues. He's come back from that entirely renewed and refreshed. Connor Evans salivating over this corner kick. It comes in, it sits up, it's still there, it's plucked off the line. It does not come closer than that. James Snedden, just a passenger in that moment, bailed out by a bit of heroic defending.
Wow, this is an all-in scramble. The ball's just bobbling around. It's like, who wants it? There's a bit of a tug. You can see Toby Sims was about to score, and someone pulled his shirt back, stopped him from having a good kick, and then it was just a scramble.
There will be a shuffling of the puzzle as Max Shenfield is thrown on. 3 assists for him on the year. Maybe he is the one to play provider. We've seen him function as a fullback and something of a deeper lying wide midfielder, and he replaces Landon Johnson. You would imagine it might be a more attacking deployment for him. So day done. The Academy graduate Landon Johnson. His first start of the year goes off without much of a bang. It's a long throw in from Sims. All the way done away with by Dakota Barnathan. He does finally clear the lines. Evans lets it get away from him. Terzaghi igniting the attack. Aimed in towards Max Shenfield. Richmond setting up camp at the edge of the final third. It falls through to Kirkland. Greenville quickly closing down. And Castro trying to win the ball over Lodge. Apparently, Lodge interfered there.
Just looking at that change of Max Shenfeld and thinking that maybe Hayden Anderson might also enter the fray at some stage. They just need a bit of fresh approach, something to inspire the rest of the players to try and get this equalizer.
Anderson very familiar with this Greenville outfit, playing for them last year. Actually scored against Richmond for triumph in 2024. A lot of things bobbing around in the mind of Darren Sawatsky.
I think the same can be said though for Rick Wright. He must be looking at his attackers and thinking maybe Ben Zakowski might come on and provide some fresh legs. Ropapa Mensah would be another good option up front, and as Leo Castro at 36 probably doesn't have 90 minutes in his legs, so you would think that he's likely to come off sooner than later.
Castro takes such good care of himself, but there is a management aspect in this at his age. He's been able to dominate physically at times, but it's a long season. You want to protect him where you can. Don't really have that luxury unless you're up by a couple goals. Some of those readying in the raft for Richmond kickers. Griffin Cornett. Greenville noticeably sagging a lot deeper now. Lodge with Loft. It does not get over the veteran, Tyler Pollock. So steady at the back. Tyler Pollock, exemplary professional. Still never scored in his professional career, Gary. Maybe today's the day.
Oh, wow. I think he gets something somewhere down the line in a whole career, maybe just a lucky bounce or deflected shot or something.
It's the last thing on the bingo card in the Greenville Triumph experience. Shenfield thought about it. Now threading along to Beckett Howell. Terzaghi the target, it gets away from Rankenberg. Was it helped away from Rankenberg? That's the question. Terzaghi thinks so.
That's much better from Richmond kickers. Lovely ball out wide here. Beckett Howell puts one in the danger area. Terzaghi at the near post just doesn't quite make contact. The ball's a good one. It's floated high by the youngster. It takes a bit of a deflection, to be fair, so maybe that's where Terzaghi couldn't read it. But that's the few times we've seen Richmond actually get on the front foot and do something creative around the goal of Greenville.
Only 5 touches in the box in the first half. That comes in comparison to 20 plus from Greenville. Richmond with much more imagination so far in half number 2.
That's a very good talking point. 5 touches in the opposition box to 21 from Greenville. You have to get in the box to score, as we see a free kick and a big shout coming there from Robles. But you have to get into that box to cause problems, and they weren't able to do it. They haven't been able to do it up until that chance a minute or two ago for Richmond kickers.
Rodrigo Robles looks in some serious discomfort. This is not a pretty picture right now for Greenville.
Let's just see what happens. Takes the ball away. Just a kick on the shin. There was nothing nasty about that. It certainly seems to be troubling Rodrigo Robles.
A guy who's been in and out of the lineup, really has solidified himself starting the last 7 games. He hadn't even played in the 3 games prior to that, but 4 goal contributions in the last 5 have seen him turn into something of a star man for Rick Wright and his bunch. As it will be Rick Wright who's preparing the changes now, and we'll see if one of them is for Robles. That appears to be the case. Ben Zakowski, a much more widely oriented player, sent into the game, and Evan Lee has seen everything in this league. will step center stage as Zeke Soto, his day is done. That is a removal of some of the randomness, the wild card players in this Greenville team coming out. Of course, Ben Zakowski scored against Richmond in the prior engagement of these two this year. Now we've seen Evan Lee throughout his career play everywhere from center back all the way to center forward. So it really is dealer's choice for Rick Wright as to where he sets up shop. Robles still requiring some attention. He's replaced by Ben Zakowski.
This is the job that the substitutes have. Certainly in Ben Zakowski's case, get that second goal, give us some breathing space. Evan Lee, it'll be bring energy into that midfield, run, help those who are feeling a little bit tired. You've got, what is it, 23 minutes plus, you know, sprint. Everything you do has got to be at pace because you have all the gas in the tank.
Curling ball into Evan Lee, who immediately, with his first touch, takes a heavy one, out for a throw. And once more, maybe belabored the point, but just to underscore it, at kickoff, it felt like 100 degrees. There will be a waning effect on the energy these players can give.
Which again is why the substitutes are so important. They come on with those fresh legs, fresh minds, the ability to think a little bit more clearly, to see the game, and they've been listening to the comments on the bench as well, so they can come in with a thought that says maybe there's a weakness here, maybe we can play a certain way and get a better return out of this match.
Now, Gary, you played in a time where 3 substitutions was the norm. What is your thought on the 5 substitution rule and how that maybe changes the game?
I'm fine with it. I think it's you know, it allows the coaches to make a lot of changes. What it also does is it gives players the chance to recover a little bit more quickly. When you back in the day, we played 90 minutes twice a week, often rack up 60 games a year in England, and you know, you take a lot of strain and stress over that time. Here, you can pull players out after 60 minutes, rest them, maybe start them from the bench after that because you've got these substitutes.
Ball into the box, it lands dangerously. Just a passing glance as both O'Dwyer and it looked like Garnett were arriving right in the center of things. This is a good ball in.
I think it's O'Dwyer gets the header here. He throws his header, then it's maybe Toby Sims just puts him off. There's a bit of contact from the Greenville defender as he's heading that Chandler O'Dwyer, but again, it's a nice little look at goal from Richmond kickers. They're just beginning to come into this match a bit more, which will be worrying for the Greenville Triumph fans.
Tune in to Triumph's next home match at 7 p.m. on Saturday, July 26th versus FC Naples. The Jägermeister Cup, we've already told you precisely how significant that might be. This first year in which the Jägermeister Cup includes both teams from League One and the Championship. Greenville, famously for all the wrong reasons, bowed out of that tournament on the final day of the group last year. Leo Castro in the mood now, though. Rambling in is Toby Sims, who soft balance as he hits it. That splits the wrong uprights.
Expect better from Toby Sims. He's such a good player. He should be able to deliver that into the box. Nice layoff there from Leo Castro.
Well said.
Good touch on that player. I mean, again, if you're a young striker and you're wanting to learn in League One, then there's not many better than Leo Castro. The way he is aware of the players around him, his touches are economical, accurate, really good striker.
There's an instinctive aspect to his game, but also I don't think anybody plays the position better from the shoulders up in this league than Leo Castro.
He's got some fantastic background. He played for Millionaires in Colombia, which is a decent team. Played for my old side in South Africa, Kaiser Chiefs.
How about that?
Won a whole bunch of trophies there. So he's widely traveled, got a lot of experience of different types of soccer. And again, somebody that the youngsters can learn from.
Played this sport on 4 different continents. A long career. He's found a landing spot with Greenville, now their all-time leading scorer. Vying at the ripe old age of 35 plus years old. potentially to win the Golden Boot in this league. Terzaghi. Once more, it's a fangless effort into the area. Siobhan Marsh. Looks like Greenville is more and more accepting the role of antagonist, trying to hit out on the break. Heavy touch from Leo Castro after all that praise.
Maybe just getting tired. At 36 years of age, 70 minutes, maybe pushing it for him.
Rolls away from Evan Lee, who does not give up the fight. Possession won in the mid-park by Chapa Herrera. Connor Evans, a heady touch as he hustles away. Evans still right in the midst of things. Leo Castro using his frame. Wonderful touch to take it in. It falls for Ben Zakowski, who tried to disguise a cross. It fizzes out for a corner.
He took a bit of a gamble there, Ben Zakowski, because he didn't know how the ball was going to bounce, but give him credit for at least having a try there. As it pops up, he hits it. He was probably aiming for that far post. Nonetheless, decent effort, wins him a set piece.
May have given him a little bit too much credit on my part with the cutback there. Certainly a shot. Maybe a chance for another corner kick. It's a well-placed ball. Met even better by Kirkland. A second chance into the box. It comes all the way across. And Toby Sims sticks and twists. They waited for their chance to grow the lead in Greenville. Get it to 2-0 against Richmond Kickers.
And that's a really good strike of a ball into the box there by Connor Evans for Toby Sims to tap it in at the far post. The initial corner gets headed clear, but Connor Evans then gets it back, head up, and then decides to drive it there. That's different. You thought he was going to cross it. He drives it into that 6-yard box. The defenders at the near post of Richmond Kickers don't deal with it. And then Toby Sims just hovering at the far post here. He's thinking a high ball's coming in. It doesn't. It's on the ground. He goes. The other defenders don't. And he's got the simple task of tapping in from 3 yards out. And now they do have that cushion. Greenville triumph 2-0.
The Triumph filled with uplifts. Two of their new additions. Connor Evans, Toby Sims. Take Greenville well into the catbird seat now. 3 sheets to the win for the home side.
Big challenge now for Richmond. Just over 15 minutes left, plus any added time. They're going to really have to start throwing things at that Greenville Triumph defense, take a few risks.
And Andrew Richmond, another one of those teenage kickers coming in. The mop-up duty home goals are presented by, for Greenville, YMCA of Greenville. And they're starting to wear down the kickers' side that have held their head proudly down the years, getting picked apart a bit here on the road. Gary, we led the broadcast by saying that Richmond is dicing with danger a bit there. Was Griffin Garnett at the throw-in for Greenville. They've gone winless in 12 straight, all competitions, 13 if you want to count the friendly. And this is maybe a signal of travel for them this year. It's been a flat performance.
Yeah, they really have struggled now, and if this result holds, they're going to be 4 points off that playoff line, and suddenly that gap starts to widen. They're going to need to turn it around somehow and go on a really, really good run.
Chandler O'Dwyer is the one who's dropped out of the game to make way for Richmond. It's also Hayden Anderson, the former Triumph man, coming in for Bear. Another ball into the box. Greenville hunting for that knockout punch. Richmond with their chins jutted out. Toby Sims a little frustrated that that ball was not delivered to him earlier. Out for a throw-in. Final quarter hour now. Shenfield. Throwing to come. Long back in play. Shenfield. Siobhan Marsh takes it out of touch. A couple substitutions being prepped for Greenville. Give you a moment to tell you that Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship from the Academy The Big League Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest select product specials and more. Select. Gary, I'm told it's a player's choice. It's a joust for it in the mid-park. Goes scrambling out to the touchline. It's a throw-in now for Richmond. Greenville yet to make those substitutions. It looked like big Ropapa-Mensah was being prepped.
This is it for Richmond. They've got to start just throwing bodies in there, taking risks. You lose 2-0 or 3-0 doesn't really make a difference. But it means you've got to just put some more bodies in attack and leave yourself one-on-one at the back.
Golden Rankenberg had the sizing of it the whole way. Hasn't had much to do. May have just allowed Siobhan Marsh to really get in gear. Travella ball in behind. It will just about stay on. Ben Zakowski with fresh legs gets there in time. Greenville might be able to start the celebration early if they can find another tally. Chapa Herrera in the first half, Toby Sims most recently. A complete professional performance so far from them. Evan Lee. And Herrera. Herrera splits a line into Siobhan Marsh. Leo Castro. Siobhan Marsh! And just pressed wide.
Again, Siobhan Marsh, such a clever player on the fringes. His quick feet. And that one there, you saw, came very close to flying in that far side of the goal. I just find him such a useful player to have in your side, Siobhan Marsh. You've got quality players like Leo Castro and Robles around him, but he's the one who provides a little bit of acceleration, a little bit of dribbling, a little bit of something extra special.
And substitutions, several of them finally being made. Pascal Corvino gets to make his first appearance in front of the home fans since match week 2 when he got hurt against Union Omaha. His longest run out since then. A couple of minutes late against Forward Madison. This is potentially a massive player for Greenville to give them that lower lying presence. Ropapa-Mensah coming on for Leo Castro as well. So the veteran gets his respite. Also looks like DJ Benton has been injected into the game, having played 15 plus minutes in the last 2 and only played 1 minute in the prior 5. Zane Bubb is the one who makes way. It's a bit of a gamble from Rick Wright, changing out his center back partnership this late on.
It is. There's no need for him to make a lot of changes. Maybe he feels very confident that at 2-0, they've pretty much got this game wrapped up. And I hope for his sake it does remain that way, because it's a lot of changes to make at a crucial time in the game.
Ball into the area, glanced away by Marcelo Lodge. Connor Evans struggling to sort it out now. Chapa Herrera. Technique let him down just a little bit there as he was leaning back. Goal kick to come. Fondi Pierre-Louis was also put in by Darren Sawatsky. There's a player down. It is Max Shenfield.
At least the second half for Richmond kickers has been a little bit better in terms of expected goals. It's now 0.7, but it's 2.88 for the home side, Greenville. So again, there's a 2-goal gap, and there is a 2-goal gap in the actual score. So expected goals versus actual is tracking. In terms of touches in the opposition box, it was very low first half for Richmond. It's up to 10 with 26 for Greenville. So 10's a bit better from Darren Sawatsky's point of view.
We'll be unhappy, though, with the fact that Max Shenfield is the one ailing here. Shenfield, a player that was substituted into the game. You never want to have to substitute a substitute. It's Darren Sawatsky. His team is not out of this game yet, but they must get going now. Richmond have one more window of substitution that they can use. They've made 3 swaps already in the game. Actually, I beg your pardon. They've actually already used all 3 windows, if my accounting is correct. So unless this is a potential head injury, Richmond would have to carry on down to 10 men. Of course, if there is concern for a head injury, there is a 6th substitution that's made available. If that is to be used, Greenville would be allowed access to a 6th change as well. Sheffield looks like he's grabbing at his upper body as he comes to the dugout. And for now, at least, Richmond kickers are down to 10 men. Literal injury added to insult.
And you do start looking ahead for Richmond, and besides the Jaeger Cup, their next league match is FC Naples at home. Tough as that might be, it's becoming a must-win game as the weeks will start ticking down. They can't afford to let that 4-point gap to a playoff spot get any worse.
Getting involved is Pierre-Louis. Escaping him is Ben Zakowski. A little bit misguided on the ball across field, but Corvino mops up. There was a time where there were easy outs in this league. That is gone now. It looked like Texoma was really going to struggle in their first year. They got hot. Every team is competent and capable. Will not be an easy ride for Richmond if they want to get back above the playoff line.
I think that's the same story in the USL Championship as well. It is incredibly tight. No easy games. Teams that are currently sitting on the bottom of the table with a couple of wins could be top in a few weeks' time.
It looks like an extra substitution will be made available as Shensfield is only able to carry on for about 30 minutes. Guillermo Franca is the one who's put into the game to replace him. So that will be the final change for Richmond kickers. Scrambling in and picking it up. Keeping the ball on the floor. Greenville triumph. Chapa Herrera, Pascal Corvino already adding influence in the mid-park. A bit of a nip at the heels there. Running by Andrew Richmond. And once more, stopping a play will bring about a conversation between he and Rodrigo Albuquerque.
Got to give the referee a mention. Thought he's done really well here today. The match has flowed. He's had a quiet word here and there, just 2 yellow cards, if my math is correct. I've written them all down, which is not a lot, and that means that the players are respecting the referee, the managers themselves respect. We've seen a few occasions throughout all the leagues where managers get a bit overexcited on the bench and end up getting sent off. Nothing like that today. So all in all, it's been a well-managed game from beginning to end. Not the result that Darren Sawatsky would have wanted. Certainly for Rick Wright, the pressure's off a little bit after a couple of losses, but bad run for Richmond unfortunately continues unless something very special happens in the next 5 or so minutes.
Never know in this league, but it is true. Wire to wire, Greenville. This has been the kind of performance that they so often have been able to achieve in their home venue. We'll help them to close the gap on the playoff difference. Evenly, both these sides put out of the postseason last year by the eventual champs Union Omaha. They would have had every expectation to get back there this year. For Richmond, a lot of it has just come with a dip in form coinciding with a ton of injuries. If they do get healthy late on, they could really make some noise. Ball across the bow. It was delivered by Ropapa Mensah. Zakowski has stolen it from the clutch of Pierre-Louis, who's repaid the favor. Walked into the center away from Richmond, and Benton not taking any chances, deviating the ball back to Rankenberg.
Well, for Greenville now, it's really a case of just working the clock down. They're doing a really good job of it. They're high pressuring. Rick Wright's got the front players still testing Richmond kickers so that they're having to do a lot of defending. They're controlling the ball most of the time, Greenville, and that's not allowing Richmond kickers to do anything. That will allow them to do something, giving away silly free kicks.
Could be a real chance for Richmond. Maybe do something late. Dead balls are the quickest path back into the contest, you would imagine.
Get all those big boys in the box, which they've done. Hang it up there. So it's a free kick. It's going to bring some unnecessary pressure.
Barnathan. It's a rainbowing ball. It's rolled away. It comes back under the spell of Barnathan. of an albatross into the box. And the story of the night, finally a chance manufactured by Richmond, but nothing doing there.
I think it describes it very well. They did manufacture a chance there. The header just dropping, that shot just not connected at all. This is maybe the chance they wanted, something to drop, striker to get on the end of that. And as it comes, that hit there, totally mishit there from Marcelo Lage.
Not sure if you're wanting Marcelo Lage to be the one finishing the action. Up out of goal. It is James Snedden. Had to be alive to the danger there. Corvino. Evan Lee had started offside, so he's wise to not touch it. It is out for a throw, and a good time to tell you, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your ticket to great seats. Well, Papa Mensah digs one out. Chapo Herrera stabbing tackle, unable to gain possession. Scuttling wide now, Richmond kickers. Hayden Anderson just about keeps it on. Maybe not.
Just looking at the league table and noticing that Richmond kickers now, with these 2 goals they've conceded 28. That's the second highest in the league table, even though they're sitting more or less in the middle, maybe just under middle. They've conceded way more than they should have done. If they, to Darren Sawatsky's point, if they could just keep it tighter in defense, they would get so many more points.
Beyond that, they've been able to give themselves a little bit more leeway defensively with the offensive output this year. But partner, this is now 2 consecutive league matches in which they've failed to score a goal. I should say in all competitions. This will be, if they do not get one, the first time that they have gone scoreless in 3 straight since 2019. And that is the place they find themselves now. The Welsh run dry a little bit offensively. And then the defensive action's still leaky, as here's a look back at the contact.
Ooh, that's a very, very late one there. A bit of a nasty one coming in then, and the referee could have taken a bit more action. Lucky to get away with that one. Just a yellow.
Anthony Patti fresh into the game. That yellow card brought to you by GSP Airport. Snuck that last substitution in, did Rick Wright, as this ball is well over bagged and just about somehow sticks on. Connor Evans forced to come to life, and he wins a throw.
This is it, just good professionalism, keep that clean sheet, try and keep the ball in the opponent's half, that way they can't harm you too much. If they can do that, Greenville triumph, it'll be a really, really good victory with a clean sheet that sees them just 1 point behind those playoff spots.
I'm sure that'll feel good for Gunther Rankenberg to come back into the team, and albeit he hasn't had to do much so far to earn it, but to settle things down, get a clean sheet, and let everybody know that that job between the pipes belongs to Gunther Rankenberg.
It'll be his 4th clean sheet of the season. He was joint 5th coming into this with 3 clean sheets, joint 5th in the entire league, joint 6th in saves made. So he's had a decent season so far, and as you say, he'll be, as all goalkeepers are, very happy with this clean sheet if it holds.
Interested to see if Seth Klorman gets the nod in the Jägermeister Cup, where he has been the first choice goalkeeper.
I think that's pretty common amongst a lot of coaches. You give one goalkeeper the cup games, otherwise, unlike other positions where you can bring players off the bench, you can't do that with goalkeepers. They play a full game normally. So the only way to allow your second choice keeper to feel he's part of a squad is to play in the cup matches.
7 saves for Torman in the last cup game against Miami FC, where he was in the team of the rounds. Of course, that was before the proceedings of the Portland Hearts of Pine game, so hopefully for Seth, he can maybe come into that one and make a positive impact. Hayden Anderson trying to close things late. Really a finalizing clearance over the head of Devin Benton. And DJ does dart it away from danger. Board being calibrated by Promise Adebayo Ige, the 4th official. It's 6 minutes. If Richmond could maybe nick one, it could get close quickly. Evan Lee trying to see to it that that's not an option. In for Papa Mensah. Zukowski does chase it down. At least Richmond will have to work for it, trying to throw it in from deep in their own end. Immediately back in play. Pierre-Louis. Tyler Pollock confiscates the ball. It's out for a throw. So as we wind down here, how much in your estimation has this been about the performance of Greenville as opposed to the lack of performance from Richmond on the day?
I think you have to give Greenville credit for that lack of performance by Richmond. They haven't allowed them to play. They've been good on the ball, very good in the first half. They've taken two of their chances. Very clever Robles to win the first penalty that just puts the pressure on Richmond, and they've kept a clean sheet. So it doesn't matter how you do it. It's a really good job by Greenville Triumph. And I would like to see Rick Wright's face at the end of this match, because he's been talking to us about being snake bit so many times. He's got fed up with red cards, with players' errors. If he keeps a clean sheet and gets a 2-0 win, I think we'll see a big smile from him.
Pascal Corvino sizing one up. Not going to trouble Snedden too much. The word, as commonly said, has been, in the words of Rick Wright, if it weren't for bad luck, we would have no luck. He will certainly be happy to drive home tonight with a bumpless performance, as Ropapa Mensah, him scoring, would be the icing. Mensah forces one heck of a save out of James Snedden.
Wow, good save by the goalkeeper. That has come in at some pace. It's a thunderous shot. And when he actually hits it, what is he, about 7-8 yards out? Goalkeeper does really well to push that away from danger. He's had an impressive match. James Snedden, not much you could do about the goals, but overall, he's been tested in the air, he's been tested with shots, and he's stood up really well.
I mean, Gary, you played the position at the highest of high levels. Maybe answer this on the other side of the corner, because it could change the answer, but flashes of a special player in the form of James Snedden as that ball comes dangerously in. It's blocked on the way through. Pierre-Louis unable to catch up.
Yeah, it is tough as a goalkeeper. I made my debut at 20 for Man United, and you know, it's huge pressure. You've got experienced professionals in front of you. You have to tell them what to do, where to go. You've got to come and take high balls, and you know if you misjudge it, someone's going to tap it into an empty net. And it's not easy, and that's why I think James Snedden's done really well here. He stood up strong, he's made the saves, he's commanded his area. And you do wonder if there's a goalkeeper of the future here that is being brought to the fore by Richmond kickers. And once again, they'll probably leave here with no points, but great credit to Darren Sawatsky for playing so many young players in this match.
It's a searching ball in for Zakowski, who bruises the bar. Ropapa Mensah latching on. Connor Evans working free. Connor Evans now saved again by Snedden. Cat-like reaction from the youngster. He's kept the margin at 2.
Another very good save. That ball again has come in at massive pace. It's not just a case of getting hands to it. You've got to stop it from going in. Oh, how about that, by the way? What a good flick from Zakowski. But to James Snedden, you've got to push that away from danger. You've got to see it, you've got to read it, and you've got to be able to push it up and over and away from going into the back of your net.
That's the unteachable part. There's a lot of things that can be worked on as a goalkeeper in regard to distribution and commanding the box. But that raw shot stopping ability, a lot of the time the reactions can be kind of innate, and that's where Snedden maybe sets apart. Zakowski, oh, he's just toying with the defender now. On a drive, Chapa Herrera, Evan Lee had not read the same script, but back for Zakowski. Richmond just can't get near it. Not a glove laid on Greenville in this one, and a frustration foul committed by Franca. Tapping away to the end of a game, Greenville. And these last couple of home games have been quite impressive against Chattanooga and then Miami, and now Richmond here at home.
It's their away form they have to do something about. Is it 1 win in 8? 1 win, 1 draw, 6 losses. They've got to do something better than that on the road. And there's just something about, as Rick Wright says, they play with a more confidence at home. They've had a really good performance here. Haven't given the visitors much to go with. And they've tested James Snedden a whole bunch of times.
They would honestly be good for 3 or 4 at the carriage of this game so far. Evans a little bit wasteful on that chance, but widely, despite that being a trouble area for Greenville throughout the course of the year. They've been very efficient with how they've taken their chances so far. That might be the final action. Richmond bumped and bruised. They have not had much success in this venue. Been a lot of draws here recently in South Carolina when these two have gotten together. Greenville, though, from wire to wire, they have looked the better side. And Evan Lee, maybe the cherry to put on top of it in hand as he drives towards the end line. Zakowski's the one waiting. Dragged back by Marcelo Lodge. A little bit surprised this is allowed to continue past this point, but Greenville have a real chance for a free kick here.
Surprised it wasn't a yellow card. It was a blatant pull there from Marcelo Lodge. I think the referee just deciding it's nearly the end of the match. He'll let that one go.
A lot of thought being paid to exactly how this free kick will be treated. Evan Lee with the captain's armband now, playing the role of conductor. Two-man barricade, only two bodies in the box. Can't imagine Greenville will give this much effort here. Zakowski. Not sure if that was just a sporting gesture to play it immediately out of play and end the game or not. Really doesn't matter. It's a foot now. Greenville triumph. Commanding 2-0 result on the day against Richmond Kickers. They close out this pack of 3 in a week in high-flying fashion, and Rick Wright will be all smiles as he greets his team.
I didn't see a smile there. I'm hoping I'm going to see a smile any moment. He must be feeling good inside, though. Can't say the same for Darren Sawatsky. It's 3 matches now. They've conceded 7. They haven't scored a single goal in those 3 matches. Not a good run for Richmond Kickers, but on the upside, a whole bunch of young teenagers that have been given a chance, and credit to Richmond Kickers for that.
Triumph. Get back up off the canvas. A commanding, as previous mentioned, performance on the day as they take a hurting to Richmond Kickers. Final tally is 2-0 as Richmond are put to the sword here in South Carolina.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental dental care, from our family to yours.
What exactly is a Sully steamer? Our sandwiches are made to order, which means once you've taken a look at our big menu and narrowed down your options, we go to work. Our sandwiches are stuffed with fresh, flavorful ingredients and then placed in our special steamer until the sandwich gets warm and soft and fuses all the flavors together to achieve the peak of tastiness. Are you hungry yet?
There's that smile. Rick Wright certainly happy about how his team played on the day. 2-0 the final. Greenville take it over Richmond Kickers. The full-time highlights coming to you as Greenville immediately gliding out in front of their opposition on the day in the 20th minute.
It was a penalty well won by Rodrigo Robles. Just laid up there by Siobhan Marsh, but he feels the contact, Robles, and he wins that penalty. Chaparrera sends the goalkeeper the wrong way for his second penalty in the last 3 games, and they're 1-0 up, and then it was just a case of trying to get the second. Had a whole bunch of efforts and the goalkeeper stood big, but this one here gets driven on the ground when everyone's expecting it to go high, and Toby Sims at the far post says, "Thank you very much, I will put this game to bed."
Probably eliminated 8 or 9 defenders there as we hit the full-time highlights. Those full-time highlights were brought to you by GSP International Airport. And the big one to point out, Gary, for these full-time stats, can't win many games when you don't have a single shot on target.
100% correct. That's been the biggest problem. They didn't work Gunter Rankenberg enough. Richmond kickers, they did get an XG of 0.89, but then the home side had an XG of 2.97, a 2-goal difference. It remains a 2-goal difference in reality. They've got to do more in terms of working the opposing goalkeeper, and those shots on target prove that it wasn't a good day at the office today for Richmond kickers.
An old clash between two familiar foes. Greenville left last. Those Richmond kickers in town. They get kicked out of the place. 2-0 the final score. Greenville, at the direction of Rick Wright, continue to try and find their footing in the league this year. For our entire casting crew and my partner Gary Bailey. Folks, I've been Peyton Gallagher. We will talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.